It's 8:30. Good morning, I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. The Premier's warning it'll take a long time for communities to recover from last week's deadly superstorm and floods in the Hunter and Central Coast. Mike Baird has appointed retired Brigadier Darren Norman to coordinate the response. He says the former military official is the best person to get the areas back on track.
Darren Norman, who comes with impeccable credentials, one of the leading infrastructure specialists across the Army, many projects, not just here across Australia, but across the Asia Pacific, he's been in charge of.
Ausgrid still has a massive job ahead. Despite restoring power to most parts of the Hunter, 20,000 homes and businesses remain in the dark, including Woodbury, Shoal Bay and Raymond Terrace. Some areas could be without power for most of the week. Supplies will continue to be delivered by helicopter this week to communities isolated by floodwaters. SES Hunter Incident Controller Amanda Williamson says about 8 villages and towns are cut off, including Gilliston Heights, which is likely to be isolated until at least Wednesday.
If the weather stays relatively calm, that the floodwaters will recede, and we're expecting that those communities will remain isolated anywhere between 48 hours to 1 week in time.
Meanwhile, trains are finally running again on the Hunter line. Services are resumed following a week-long shutdown. However, they're operating on a reduced frequency. A large section of track still needs major repair work, while 14 schools in the Hunter remain closed today. And council crews will ramp up efforts to clean up the large number of fallen trees today. In Lake Macquarie, a free curbside green waste collection will begin today. Anyone who misses out can take their green waste to the Taralba Worm Farm. In other news, fire has caused extensive damage to a suspected bikie clubhouse at Lake Macquarie. Firefighters from Taralba, Cardiff, Wallsend and Toronto, along with the duty commander, were called to a 20 by 40 metre iron shed divided into 2 units on Creek Reserve Road at Bullaroo just after 4:30 to find a large amount of smoke issuing from the complex. Newcastle Fire Command says it's taken about 2 hours to extinguish and mop up the fire, which caused damage to 30% of the complex and 50% of the contents. Police are trying to determine how the fire started. And a man is due to front court today accused of stealing and crashing a police car at Ashtonfield. An off-duty police officer witnessed an alleged domestic incident on South Seas Drive just before 10:30 yesterday morning, in which a woman suffered a cut to her hand. Police arrested the woman's partner, who was handcuffed and placed in the back seat of a police car while the officers took details from the alleged victim. However, Constable Justin Hirano says the man managed to climb into the front seat and drove off while still handcuffed.
A short time later, he crashed the police vehicle into 2 parked cars and a carport. All 3 cars involved were extensively damaged, while the carport sustained minor damage. The man was not injured in the crash and was taken to Maitland Police Station before being taken to hospital for observation. He was later returned to Maitland Police Station and charged with 9 offences.
And there's been a second confirmed case of meningococcal disease in the Hunter for this year. A young man is in a stable condition in hospital. His close contacts have been given antibiotics as a precaution. Updating sport, the Newcastle Knights have had 5 players named for the annual City Country Clash. Aku Awate, James McManus, Jared Mullen, Cade Snowden and Tarek Sims will join country for Sunday's game in Wagga Wagga. Meanwhile, Knights captain Kurt Gidley says he'll be kicking stones all this week following their 26-24 loss to North Queensland on Anzac Day. Gidley concedes he made a number of errors during the game. He says he'll ensure they aren't repeated when they meet Manly in round 9.
I love playing team sport. I love the club, but it's one that I won't forget for all the wrong reasons.
The Newcastle North Stars have opened the Australian Ice Hockey League with 2 victories, defeating Adelaide Adrenaline 6-4, followed by the Canberra Brave 7-3 at Hunter Ice Skating Stadium. And Andrew Houle has picked up Newcastle Jets Player of the Year to sweeten the Jets' wooden spoon in the A-League. To NURFM News Time, 26 to 9.